This video is based on an urban legend, a fictional story, and a mysterious tale. The events, characters, and rituals described are fictional and created for entertainment purposes only. This story is not intended to be taken as real or factual. We strongly advise against attempting to recreate any rituals or activities mentioned in this video. Engaging in such practices can lead to psychological distress, fear, or unintended consequences. This video is purely for informational and entertainment purposes, designed to provide a thrilling experience and a light scare for the viewer. Remember, this is just a story. Enjoy the chills, but always stay safe and grounded in reality. The air was biting cold, the kind that seeped into your bones and made your breath visible in the moonlight. The forest surrounding the camp was eerily silent, as if the world itself was holding its breath. The only sound was the crackling of the campfire, its orange flames casting long, flickering shadows on the snow-covered ground. The smell of pine and burning wood mingled with the metallic tang of frost, creating an unsettling mix that made the back of your neck prickle. The group of friends huddled closer to the fire, their faces pale and tense. The sky above was a deep, endless black, dotted with stars that seemed too distant to offer any comfort. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it a faint, almost melodic hum that none of them could place. It was a sound that didn't belong, a sound that made their hearts race. They were miles away from the nearest town, deep in the woods of upstate New York. The isolation was palpable, a heavy weight pressing down on them. The snow had started falling again, thick and relentless, cutting them off from the world even further. There were 5 of them. Emily, the leader of the group, always the one to suggest adventures. She was brave but reckless, hiding her fear behind a confident smile. Jake, her boyfriend, the skeptic who didn't believe in ghosts or legends. He was there to keep an eye on Emily, though he secretly hated the woods. Sarah, the quiet one, who had a knack for noticing things others missed. She was the first to hear the hum in the wind. Mike, the joker, who tried to lighten the mood with bad jokes, but couldn't hide the tremor in his voice. Lily, the youngest, who had begged to come along. She was fascinated by horror stories, but regretted it now. Each of them had their reasons for being there, their own fears and secrets. Emily wanted to prove she wasn't afraid of anything. Jake wanted to protect her. Sarah was searching for something she couldn't name. Mike just wanted to belong. And Lily was there because she didn't want to be left behind. The legend of the Snow Queen. As the fire crackled, Emily began to tell the story. It was a legend she had heard from her grandmother, a tale passed down through generations. Long ago, in these very woods, a woman named Elsa lived alone. She was beautiful but cold, her heart frozen by a betrayal she could never forget. One winter, a terrible storm swept through the forest, and Elsa vanished. Some say she died in the snow, her body never found. Others claim she made a deal with something ancient and dark, trading her humanity for power over the winter itself. Over time, she became known as the Snow Queen, a spectral figure who roamed the woods, luring the lost and the lonely to her icy domain. Those who encountered her were never the same. Some disappeared entirely, their bodies never found. Others returned, but their minds were fractured, haunted by whispers and cold that never left them. The legend said that the Snow Queen could only be summoned during the first snowfall of winter, when the veil between worlds was thinnest. To call her, one had to perform a ritual. Find a clearing deep in the woods, where the snow lay untouched. Draw a circle in the snow using a silver object, a coin, a ring, or a necklace. Light a single white candle in the center of the circle. Chant her name 3 times. Elsa, Queen of Snow, we call to you. Wait in silence, listening for the hum that signaled her presence. But the ritual came with a warning. Once the Snow Queen appeared, there was no guarantee she would let you leave. The ritual. Emily's voice trembled as she finished the story. The group sat in silence, the weight of her words hanging heavy in the air. We should do it, Mike said suddenly, breaking the tension with a nervous laugh. What's the worst that could happen? Jake rolled his eyes. Are you serious? This is how every horror movie starts. But Emily's eyes gleamed with excitement. Come on, Jake. It's just a story. What's the harm in trying? Reluctantly, the others agreed. They found a clearing not far from the camp, the snow pristine and unbroken. Emily drew a circle with her silver necklace, and Lily placed a white candle in the center. As the flame flickered to life, the group joined hands and chanted, Elsa, Queen of Snow, we call to you. The wind died. The forest fell silent. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the hum began. The encounter. It started softly, a low, haunting melody that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. The air grew colder, the candle's flame flickering wildly before extinguishing altogether. In the center of the circle, a figure began to form. She was tall and ethereal, her skin as pale as the snow, her hair a cascade of ice. Her eyes were voids, black and endless, and her lips were curled into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. The Snow Queen had arrived. The twisted familiarity. The Queen didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her presence was enough to make them question everything they thought they knew. For Emily, she looked like her mother, who had died years ago. For Jake, she was his younger sister, who had gone missing when they were kids. For Sarah, she was a reflection of herself, but older, colder. The whispers grew louder, more frantic, and the group realized with horror that they were coming from her. But her lips didn't move. The unpredictable turns. One by one, they tried to run. But the forest had changed. The paths they had followed were gone, replaced by endless rows of identical trees. The snow fell harder, blinding them, and the hum grew deafening. Mike was the first to disappear. One moment he was there, the next he was gone, swallowed by the snow. Lily screamed, but her voice was drowned out by the wind. Emily tried to lead them back to the camp, but the footprints they had followed were gone. Instead, they found a single set of prints, their own leading in a perfect circle. The ending. They never found Mike. They never found the camp. The Snow Queen followed them, always just out of sight, her whispers growing louder with every step. By morning, the storm had passed and the forest was silent once more. But the group was never the same. Emily stopped seeking adventure. Jake stopped doubting. Sarah stopped speaking altogether. And Lily would wake up screaming, her dreams filled with snow and whispers. To this day, they don't talk about what happened that night. But sometimes, when the wind is just right, they can still hear the hum. And they know she's still out there. Years later, Emily returned to the woods. She told herself it was to face her fears, but deep down, she knew it was something else. Something she couldn't explain. She found the clearing. The Snow Queen was waiting. This time, Emily didn't run. And this time, the Queen smiled. The end, or is it?